Hey everybody, I'm Stacy Lyn. Today I am making a fabulous roasted turkey. I am making a compound butter to put under the skin and all over the top to make it nice and crusty and beautifully moist. And I'm gonna make a gravy with the drippings. So let's get started. Super fast, super easy. The first thing I'm gonna do is just get everything in the pan. I'm just gonna put my turkey right on top of these carrots and celery. And I have not peeled it because I'm really gonna strain it. I've washed these, but that's about it. I'm putting them in the pan. And I'm gonna also do that with an onion. Now, you could get more onions to put inside your turkey, but I'm not gonna do that today. I want the turkey, I want the air to circulate inside the turkey and get the turkey done, as fast as it can be done. So I'm gonna just quarter this and put this down here as a bed for the turkey. And I'm going to, now I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my garlic and get it ready to go into the compound butter that I'm about to create. It's gonna be super moist, super delicious. So I've got about 3 cloves of garlic here, and you could put this in, some of this anyway, into your pan and, have that flavor in your gravy. But I think this is gonna be really good as a flavoring throughout the turkey. This is gonna be so good, y'all. I cannot wait to get this and eat this. And usually I brine my turkey, and I will brine it about a gallon of water to a cup of salt and a cup of sugar and some peppercorns, bay leaves. But I am not brining this one. This one is a free-range turkey, but it is not a wild turkey. A wild turkey, I don't really think that you can get away with not brining it. But this one should be fine, and then it's going to be extra moist with this garlic with this butter all up against inside the skin and on top of the skin. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to chop up cranberries and rosemary and garlic, and I'm just going to make it super fine. And then after I make it super fine, I'm going to add the butter. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, about a tablespoon of salt, and a little bit of pepper. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper to that. You could add white pepper if you don't want the dark pepper in there. I'm going to chop a lemon and squeeze that into this mixture. It's going to give it a really fresh, delicious freshness. It's going to be really, really good. You could use parsley, and sometimes parsley will give that fresh taste that you're looking for. Just give it a rough chop one more time, but we're going to be mixing it in with this butter, so we should be fine. Okay, so I have room temperature butter here, and I'm going to use 2 sticks of butter for this. And we may not use all of this butter, but if you by chance had leftovers and your hands were clean and you didn't get all of your hands mixed up in here with the with all of these or with any juices, the turkey juices, then you could just put it in the freezer for later. Or you could take half of this if you didn't think you were going to use it and put it in some freezer paper, and I would double wrap it in freezer paper, and then you could just put it straight into the freezer. So this is smelling delicious. Oh my goodness. And look at how pretty this butter is turning out. It's a beautiful butter. So this is unsalted butter, because I ended up putting a good bit of salt in it, or at least a tablespoon of salt in it. But if you did get salted butter, you would just leave out the salt. Okay, so I've got my butter mixture about done. So I'm gonna bring over the turkey, and then I'm going to show you what to do. I've got my turkey here, and it's super easy to take the skin away from the flesh, or the meat actually here. And so I've kind of worked on it a little bit before, just to make sure I didn't get any cuts anywhere. So you don't want all of that butter spilling out everywhere. But you're just gonna, it's real easy. You find just a little spot up here and you just kind of start working your way and inside here, and you just work your hand all the way back. Now you can use a spatula if you like, because sometimes your hands, your fingernails or whatever can have a, it can poke right through. So you could use a spatula and it could go all the way back. Now I've seen where I go ahead and get the leg too. So I worked my hand back over here and got into where the leg is so that I could get every piece of meat that I could possibly reach. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my butter mixture, and I am just gonna put it right inside this skin, and I'm just gonna spread it out everywhere, and I'm just gonna smush it all over, all the way back in this big, huge turkey, and just kind of start massaging it, even from the outside here. And I'm gonna massage it also when I put some of the butter on the outside of this. All right, and so I'm just going to do that with the leg. I'm going to do that with the other side, and then I'm going to do this on the outside. Okay, I've got some rosemary and salt and pepper, just as finely chopped as I could get it, because nobody wants to get a big piece of rosemary. One of my kids gets kind of upset every time that I do anything with rosemary because it's kind of so woody. So I'm gonna just put this olive oil over the outside and just kind of smear it in here. I'm also gonna dab some butter on it, but it's easier to put this or either melted butter on the outside of this, but you don't want it to burn, and the butter may burn. Okay, and I'm just gonna sprinkle on top of this, or actually pat on top of this, some of this rosemary, salt, and pepper. All right, now I'm just gonna get a little bit of my butter mixture and just kind of place it on it. I'm gonna be wrapping this in just a few minutes with tinfoil, so a lot of it is, all of the juices will drip out of the bottom into the pan. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the top of it. It'll fall down as it goes in here. Wherever I think that it's gonna stay is where I'll put the butter. So just kind of in the crevices here of the turkey. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is just tie the legs here. And actually, I don't even know that I need to do that. I don't think I'm even gonna do that. It's not gonna be a big deal. For me, I'm not gonna put this whole thing on the table. I like to go ahead and cut it into serving sizes. And so what I will do is just let this get done, and then I'm gonna rest it for like 2 hours. That's like one of the biggest keys to roasting a turkey, is to let it rest so all the juices can redistribute and the breasts are really nice and succulent. And if you eat it too fast and you don't do that, it's just gonna be dry. So don't try to do that. So what I'm gonna do now is wrap this up in tinfoil really, really nicely. Okay, this piece is not big enough to do. I will add the other. Okay, and I'm only wrapping the top. Okay, and then about 2 hours in, I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna begin basting it with the juices that will be in the bottom of the pan. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to all of these giblets and aromatics here. And the thing is, I don't know if you call it giblet or giblet, and I would love to know. So that's like a really big thing here in the South. Well, at least where I live, we call it giblet, but that's not the case everywhere in the South. Okay, so I'm just gonna move it and put it right on top of these vegetables, and all of the fat, all of those wonderful flavors, the rosemary, the garlic, the butter, all of the skin, as it releases its fat, it's going to go all down into the pan, and the drippings are going to be awesome. And so you just wait 2 hours at 350 degrees. So if you want the exact times, go to my website at stacylynharris.com and look up turkey recipes, and you will see all of the different times for the different size turkeys. This turkey is about 15 pounds, so it is going to go into a 350 degree oven for about it's going to end up being 3 hours, but 2.5 hours. Then I'm going to pull it out, or around the 2 hour mark, take off the tin foil, put it back in there, put the juices on top of it, put it back in there for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to probably put some bacon over the top of it for the last 30 minutes for it to continue to brown and get done. So I will talk to you in a few minutes, and you're going to get to see a fabulously done turkey. It's been 2 hours, and I'm going to take the tin foil off of the turkey, and I am going to pour over some of these awesome looking juices. My goodness, this looks good. Now, I'm also, before I put this back in the oven, I want more juices in this, so I'm going to pour about a cup of water in here, and when it starts to get dry in your pan, you need to pour a little bit more water in there. So, be checking it. But I did end up pouring about, I didn't show you this, but I poured about 2 cups of water in it to begin with. So some of it has evaporated, but I've got all of these great juices that I'm getting to baste this turkey with. Look at that. Now, where I did not tint the turkey, or I tinted it, but it was hanging out a little bit. It got a little bit dark right there, so I'm expecting this part to be just about black in the end, but that's okay. So I'm going to put it back in uncovered now for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to put bacon on the top of it and put it back in the oven. So I'll see you in a bit. So my turkey is done. I have put the bacon on here, and I'm going to take the bacon off. It made it super moist and kept that moisture in there the last part of the cooking. I could have actually put that bacon on there maybe 30 minutes even more, 30 minutes earlier, and still, it may have gotten it even more moist. So I'm removing that, and I'm just going to remove this to a cutting board and just let it sit for 2 to 3 hours. I know that's a long time and you just want to get into it, but I promise you, if you let it sit, it's going to be a lot more moist, and it's just, the juices are going to redistribute, and it's just going to be great. So this is definitely ready. The juices are running clear, and it's just a beautiful bird. Oh man, it's just so pretty. Look at that. And now I've got all of this stock, or all of this wonderful, just the stock and the giblets, and I'm gonna make an amazing giblet gravy with this. It is gonna be so good, but that is for another episode. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope you'll give this recipe a try at StacyLynHarris.com.